Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 Fight Night. My name is Kendric, and it's an absolute honor and pleasure to welcome you back. We have a stacked roster of 2 players, but hey, what would be Fight Night without my lovely wingman? How's it going, Grubby?
Hey, what's up, Kendrick? How's it going? Time for another awesome best of 7 between DeMusliM and Spiral, and who better to cast it with than with my buddy Kendrick Swish?
Damn right, the feeling is mutual, and man, what a matchup today, right? We had a super spectacular matchup a couple of weeks ago when DeMusliM dethroned Side, who had looked so strong on the undead race, and who enchanted us all with his extraordinary and unique playstyle. So I'm pretty sure a couple of people, even outside of friends, would have shed or had shed a tear when their champion got dethroned. But hey, a new dawn, a new day. It's the humans who are currently sitting on the throne. But I talked to the players a little bit before today's match, and Grubby, let me tell you, DeMusliM didn't sound very confident in his Orc versus human matchup.
Yeah, many of his losses on the ladder come against Orcs, such as Hitman, who, of course, we have seen in the Fight Night as well. The very indomitable Orc from the USA. DeMusliM, by his own account, says he is weakest against both undead and orc, but is very fervent to try and improve his matchup. He has a good mentality about it, full of positivity, but it doesn't take away that most of his losses in his mind are coming against undead and orc right now. He did dispatch of Side, who is an undead player, 2 weeks ago at this same time on a Friday in the early evening in Europe, and of course in the afternoon or the morning in USA. And now it would be time to do the same with his orc adversary from Germany, Spiral.
Yeah, in Spiral, he is almost a mystery. He's almost an enigma, you know? You never get to see him. You never get to hear him a lot outside of the game. He did stream for a while, but I think he's been a little bit inactive on that regard. So when he shows up, it's always like, which Spiral are we going to see today? You know, because we haven't heard from him in such a long time. You only really see him perform in-game, but outside of the game, he's a very, I wouldn't say shy, but just a very unspectacular player, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing at all. In fact, I think it's one of his sources as to why he looks so damn strong in the recent past. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, when we had the Stay-at-Home Story Cup with Taken Back to Warcraft taking the lead on that one, he made it all the way to the finals, beating DeMusliM, and really putting up one hell of a fight against Happy.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Spiral went 2-3 against Happy, Kendrick, as I'm sure we were both watching.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just incredible because Happy is one of the best players in the world playing the undead race. And he is our boogeyman we often threaten as a next opponent, jokingly, to every Fight Night participant. And the fact that Spiral would go 2-3 against him in that best of 5 is pretty damn impressive. And on the way, beating DeMusliM and many other good players.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just on a whole different planet there, and it was even more impressive to see him perform this well because he also said that to me earlier. He'd been practicing a lot of human lately, which is kind of his second race that he plays. Also competitively, you know, when he thinks his orc matchup isn't the strongest, or when he doesn't feel, you know, in the mood to get green, when he doesn't feel like his inner Hulk is ready, then he plays human to a very high standard as well. So he had practiced a lot of humans for months and months, and only recently found enough pleasure to swap back to his former main race.
Yeah, I was as surprised about that as you are, because playing on the W3 Champions ladder that Pad has set up, Spiral was human for a long time. And, he played a little bit of Orc, but it didn't seem very inspired when he was playing it. So it's cool to see a tournament like that offering motivation for a player to go back to their strongest self. Let's see if tonight's Fight Night can present a similar rising up to the occasion for both of the players. A best of 7 means there's plenty of chance for evolution for both of the players.
And that is the cool thing about Fight Night. It's a very unique format ever since we changed it up to a best of 7 to give you guys more game time and more games to observe and follow. And not few players actually come at me and say, "Whoa, best of 7! We haven't played that one, or I haven't played that one in a super long time." So, in a best of 7 with our current competitive map pool, that also means that there's no bans. Every map gets played at least once if we go full distance. So players, the way it works is players can choose their losing map 1, 2, 3. And since both players have 3 choices, 7 maps, the one that remains is the first map. And I can already spoiler a little bit. We're going to last Refuge on our first game. We're only waiting for Spiral to join. But because of the immaculate work by by a company with a blue logo, we're now having custom game issues, and we have to invite them manually now. Whereas before, of course, with the name alone, you could join the custom game. So
it's it's pretty funny. You can give it a game name. For example, let's say Fight Night 2020. And then when you give the game name to people and they join it, but they'll actually join because it's a private game. You can't join by game name. They'll actually join a random other custom game that they have previously selected. So you'll suddenly be in a game of tower defense while trying to join our custom game of Fight Night. So small little bugs, I'm sure, will be fixed sometime. Kind of sure, maybe.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
will be fixed at some point.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Blizzard had a thought behind this when they came up with this patch, basically increasing caster APM a little bit, and challenge our multitasking to the next level. So
I'm definitely working on that, trying to get Spiral in as we are here.
Yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, guys, we can talk a little bit about Fight Night, and we basically celebrated our 1-year anniversary 2 weeks ago. So it's hard to believe that we've come this far, having players from all regions and all parts of the Western Hemisphere. We're currently working on a little something that could please all the Korea and China fans out there that want to see their Infis and THs and Chimikos and whatnot. So definitely, guys, make sure to keep an eye out for this one. Super excited to share more news with you on that topic relatively soon, TM.
Cool. Looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Just adjusting your... By the way, I thought I could match you today with my background going into the cyberpunk Neon City time, but you flipped it to the orcish represent Ogrima again.
Let's see. Where did you go to?
I actually found this from CD Projekt Red when they announced like a Witcher and cyberpunk wallpaper package.
Yeah, I don't know when I picked this, actually. I think I was just... Because some people were, like, commenting on the place I live at, and then I said it's not actually my house. Because all I got...
in Ogrima?
No, all I got in the back here is a sink and a green screen. So if I remove the green screen, there's a sink, and then people are going to joke again that I'm casting from the toilet. So, like, it's very normal in the Netherlands, guys. A sink in a bedroom.
Yeah.
Is it not the case in Germany?
No, I don't think so. At least I can't recall a bedroom with a sink. Although, let me tell you, I definitely do see the advantages of having one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Why shouldn't you have one?
2 out of 3 places I've lived in, there was a sink in the bedroom. That's how common it is for me, at least. It's a normal thing to do. You've got a bedroom. There's a small wall joining to the bathroom, and they figure the plumbing's already here for the everything anyway. Might as well route one pipe to the bedroom for convenience. If it's a baby room, you've got easy cleaning. If it's a gamer pad, you've got, I don't need to go anywhere. I can just drink water here and keep gaming. So there's plenty of advantages. In the meantime, we have bridged the gap to both players being in. We need a little bit of time to set it up, and we should be ready to start very soon.
I've heard from both players that they're ready. DeMusliM and Spiral have given us green light, so I think we're ready to dive into this best of 7, guys, between DeMusliM playing human and Spiral playing orc versus human. I think this matchup is really interesting in general right now. You can probably confirm that, Grubby. You've played countless of orcs versus humans, I guess, on ladder, on the patter, really.
Yeah, it's true. It's been going through some interesting evolutions. Many, actually. I can think of like 15 different strategies that both races have used in the last 15 years. I mean, there used to be Mountain King fast expansion into Griffins. There was Archmage Beastmaster, super fast tech, super fast tower rush with Ivory Towers, and some double Sanctum casters. We've seen Dragonhawk caster builds. We've seen some fast expansion into Mortar, Rifle, Knight. We've seen Mass Breakers, Rifle Priest Sork, just Breaker, Sorc Priest. And we've seen all kinds of different abilities. Water Elemental, Brilliance, and Blizzard. We've seen Clap, Bolt, and Thunderclap, Bolt, and Bash in various combinations. And from the Orc side, equally varied up. Grunt Raider Walker, Grunt Raider Shaman, Grunt Kodo Shaman, just Grunt Shaman, Fast Expo, some version of Tier 3, Torrents, we've seen Bloodlust, Demolishers with Burning Oil, Mass Walkers, all kinds of different builds. So I'm curious to see what we will have. Just fast forwarding to the present, recently humans have been going for a faster lumber mill, more lumber. They've been getting quicker sorceresses, not just doing rifles and priests anymore, which they had been doing for about 3 months, and just getting a lot of breakers, trying to leverage Thunderclap and breakers to offset some of that value of War Stomp TC, since breakers are magic immune.
Yeah, and very often we see, of course, this standoff between the two strength heroes, you know, the two carries in the late game, the TC versus Mountain King. Who claps better? Who stomps better? Let's see if we can answer these questions today. But really, I think the gravest of changes is that Orcs, in 99% of the cases, rely on Farseer. Farseer harass, Farseer interruptions during the creeping process, so good, so strong. Is there really any space left, in your opinion, for the Blade Master, Grubby?
Well, the thing is, these days, humans have been trying a lot of different variations of defending against the Farseer, as this game on Last Refuge, our #1 game of this best of 7 of the Fight Night, is underway.
Yep.
Variations of defense include more peasants, like 10 instead of 8 on lumber, so that you have some to spare. We've seen 5 gold opening, like DeMusliM is doing now. A momentary 5 gold gives him about, how much is it? 60 gold more. 50, I think. DeMusliM has started with an opening that has 50 gold more than what is usually done. And you delay the barracks a bit. So you have 1.5 footmen when Archmage comes out instead of 2. And that extra gold streamlines his build a bit. It streamlines his farms a bit. It allows him to put a scout farm. And then we've seen humans sometimes go for like very quick Arcane Tower to defend the Feral Spirit Farseer harass. Or we've seen them delay it all the way until after Tier 2 was even started. Well, many variations. I won't bore you with all of them, or perhaps you're super fascinated. But the point is, you asked about Farseer. It is a big problem for humans. The Farseer harasses better than the Blade. If they knew it's Blade Master, they wouldn't even be making this Arcane Tower now, that the DeMusliM is starting right now. You don't need it. You just make a full wall off that the Blade cannot pass, and done. So what Blade openings being meta allows human to do is very greedy tech. Super fast tech, no defense, no concern. Yeah, the Blade is going to click the Archmage, but it doesn't matter. You just walk around the map, and the human loses no econ and can do the perfect transition. Farseer kind of messes that up. And so what humans have been doing... sorry, I have a lot to tell about this.
Dude, Grubby, feel free to... I can check my stream settings if everything is looking good. Go ahead. Don't hold back.
What humans have been doing is they're going to this mercenary camp with a footman, and they're getting the troll priest to dispel some of those wolves. But what Spiral is doing, and I think DeMusliM is wise to this because of the recent matchup they had in the Stay at Home Story Cup about a week ago, put a peon there to prevent the human from pulling the creep camp, hiring the priest without defeating the creeps, the guards. And then what Spiral will do is he puts the peon in, he attacks the creeps, they're like, "Why are you little?" And they won't actually chase the footman, so you can't hire the priest. So Spiral is stopping, he's countering the counter of his Farseer. And that means that DeMusliM already thought about that. He wasn't even trying to get the priest. That's why his Arcane Tower is so early this game. They're already deep into each other's strategy pockets.
Wow. I mean, that is so... I mean, it basically is the perfect transition as well. This matchup in particular, as to some of the new videos. Oh, by the way, our Archmage is around here with the help of Murlocs and Snares, so this is a bunch of free damage on the Archmage. And let's see if the Farseer can steal it. No, not the big one so far. Gets the item, though. Pretty crappy item for both of those heroes, but still, a little bit of a win for Spiral. Not in XP, but in items. But what I was trying to say, Grubby, is speaking about all the creep routes and early interferences that Orcs can do, it caters towards a video that we've released on our YouTube channel, !YouTube. If you want to know more about the importance of creeping, Grubby has you covered.
Love to know more.
Yeah. Always need to know more.
I'm gonna press it right now, and maybe when the stream delay catch up, chat will check it again. But let's talk about the start. You mentioned slippers. It's true, it's not the most desired item. I think among the 4 possible drops, it's the bottom 2. Slippers is better than Gauntlets of Strength in this situation. It gives attack speed. It allows you to damage the enemy Archmage and Footies more easily.
Yeah.
But Gauntlets of Strength would be worse. However, they'd rather have a Mantle of Intelligence or even a Cloak of Shadows. Who's gonna get this creep? Oh, the Farseer stole it with the last hit. Spiral, nice job by him.
Nice job by him indeed, and it's almost like you jinxed it, Grubby, because DeMusliM found the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3. So, not too happy about this, but yeah, great steal by Spiral, who is now basically on the way to level 2 as well. If he gets that Water Elemental, chasing it down with Grunt and Farseer, that would be another big leap. DeMusliM trying to save it, but I think it expired anyway, so super close. In the meantime, we see the Farseer getting chased around by one of the wolves. Has to keep some distance here. Tier 2 already there for Spiral, who's going Bestiary Spirit Lodge, standard stuff, standard build, inspired by Lin, with Shamans coming through relatively early, and maybe some Raiders as well.
Yeah, we see the Blacksmith being made now, which was perfectly scouted by Spiral right as it came down. That's a late Blacksmith. That means it's not one of those 3 footman, double rifleman openings where you start to trickle in casters belatedly. This is kind of a measured, maybe I'll make 1 to 3 rifles type of Blacksmith. Demu also has a really large bank, both in gold and lumber. Which means he has money to make Mountain King, Double Sanctum, and power build it significantly. Somehow I do feel that this is a late Blacksmith, too late. It is not optimized. If you just look at Demu's build, he has 700 gold, and that's going to take him a while to spend. So it doesn't seem optimized. His tech was late because of that early Arcane Tower that he did feel was necessary because of the Feral Spirit harass.
Yeah, Demu's bank is a little bit large. 850 gold, 900 now, so it really feels like you said, Grubby, there were some gaps and some unpolishedness, I would say, in his build, you know, with a couple of gaps here and there. Is maybe going to lose a worker now to the Wolf. Yep, always a nice exchange there. Arcane Sanctum coming up. He had to cancel the first one, so that was another small victory for Spiral, delaying the tier 2 units even more.
And the thing is, this is not a well-considered Sanctum location. And I think DeMusliM, he's a thinking, adapting player. He wouldn't look at this replay and say, I did this one really well. If you see where the Blacksmith was placed, it could have been placed many other places. It was an early build, so he could have made it safe. And then the Sanctum could have been in the place of the Blacksmith. Nice blocks though with the footy. Stormbolt gets blocked by the Town Portal scroll. So Demu spends double bolt, immediately brings up the militia to start creeping. He could see where this was going. That's very well done. If you still think about the militia now, then pull them in, you won't have really good flow. But this is good for him. Is he going to solo creep the Mountain King though? Or is he going to keep the Archmage here and essentially... Oh my god, 6 sword strikes on his own Archmage to manipulate that AI. That's a little bit too much.
Yeah, definitely. But that was a nice maneuver, and I like how you highlighted how quickly he was to respond with the militias there. Everything smoothly and seamless, basically having perfect timing to steal, or not to steal, but to secure one of the most important creep spots on the map near the shop. So very well done by him. Mountain King, by the way, a little bit out of mana now if there was another fight to erupt. And Spiral, I think he smells his chance there to interrupt a little bit, to find out where the human is nearby. And if he were to find him here with this relatively hard creep camp, one of the hardest actually, then he could certainly deal a lot of damage. And he's coming in. Invisible TC, that is something that human players at this point have to expect.
That's early though. That's really early for an invisible TC. He gets a good stomp on 7 units or so, 5 units and 2 heroes, gets level 3 and 2. And he's getting several unit kills. Having lost nothing yet, Spiral is expanding behind this.
Yeah, that was a really sneaky attack. Like you said, Grubby, it's something that Orc players have been doing more and more. You buy an invul, you buy an invisibility potion as well, and you let that TC flank in without getting slowed, without getting stunned by the Mountain King, finding that perfect initiation spot. And Spiral now, with relentless aggression, he's not letting go. He found his target, he bit into it like a pit bull, and he's there to take more damage where that came from. Rifleman down. Priests, by the way, 3 at a time. Too many, perhaps, because there's no damage right now in the army of DeMusliM, sorry.
Yeah, not a whole lot. He's actually hemorrhaged his own lumber income. Nice blocks with the Mountain King. That's actually really good.
Yeah, that was really nice. The Ensnare, of course, saving him for now. Speed Swirl had to be popped, though, and Spiral, he had to pull off the emergency exit. But the distraction, I think, is complete and very well done. This expansion, greatest weakness of Orcs, of course, slow construction time of the expansion is now going to be done. Shamans are there, Raiders are there, Grubby. I think this is looking fantastic for Spiral.
Yeah, I mean, several things in DeMusliM's macro led to him not being that dangerous at this moment. The location of the Sanctum, the cancellation, the late Blacksmith, a lot of investment in upgrades, got that long rifle upgrade early, a lot of militia usage, and then not the best early game in terms of creeping has led Demu to have a suboptimal army at pretty much every point in the game. If you see now, he even has 450 gold. He never made the Arcane Vault, so his footmen were hurt when he got interrupted in his creeping. So it is a kind of a risky style, and it is required, though, for human to play kind of risky and to trim away a lot of the fat of a build. Yeah. Because had Demu not gone with a skip on the Arcane Vault, with low footy count and so on and so forth, he would not be as strong as he possibly could be to stop this pretty meta early expansion by Orc. Humans are trying to get a big, high-value army as quickly as possible to have a relevant auto-attack timing, a timing attack, against a Orcish expansion.
And DeMusliM, I think he knew that something was up here. He hasn't seen Spiral in a while. He probably knows that he's creeping at the moment that this expansion was up. He confirms it right now. Mountain, by the way, super tanky boy. Big items in his inventory with greater mana, greater healing, Anchor of Reincarnation, and the Cloak of Flames. So focusing the Mountain King is something that you should definitely think twice about. Here come the reinforcements for Spiral, though. Fortified defenses already researched, proving to be invaluable in this defense right now. Mark Mage, super low, has to pop the TP if he doesn't want to get stunned by the TC. Gets stunned right now! Focus Fire doesn't go through, though, and the Lightning Shield still focusing on the units, dealing tremendous damage in Demu. He lost almost his entire army while witnessing that the Orc still has double base economy.
Yeah, the Burrow got some good shots off on the casters as well. Spiral didn't retarget it quite quickly enough, but eventually he did, and he started gunning down those casters. And Demu, realistically, the TC got so much creeping early on. Demu needed Spellbreakers quite early in order to be more magic immune. He had that vault very, very late. He had to power build it. His timings have been thrown off whack. And this game is going to be very difficult for him to win. He's got that Thunderclap, but Spiral wisely prepared for it with 2 Heal Scrolls.
Oh, yeah. Heal Scrolls is definitely his best friend in such situations. You know, when the clap comes through and the echo reverberates from the battlefield, not many Orc units can claim to be in good health. But here, with double Heal Scroll, and most importantly, involves on both heroes, I think that's also very important, especially for Farseer, because the best shot for the human when they're behind in these situations is to focus the Farseer and produce or provoke a TP. By having an invul, you can prevent that from happening. Oh my god, that stopped. He sees the TC emerge from the shadows and knows that the game is over. DeMusliM doesn't waste any time here and calls the GG. That was wicked.
Yeah, perfect play by Spiral. Difficult to see any mistake, really, in his entire play. He had the correct build, going for an early expansion. Yeah. Last Refuge is quite difficult to play a standard game on where you don't expand, because human can creep quite quickly and greedily, and that's what Demu was doing. Yeah. I feel like Spiral made the right decision at pretty much every point in the game, and Demu, he messed up his movement, his macro a bit. Does he have an off day today, or was that an off game? And is he yet to get started really into this series?
Whew. I mean, he told us that Orc is not his favorite opposing race. and that he thinks he has a couple of weaknesses in this matchup. Hopefully that didn't get into his mind a little bit too much, but Spiral, man, it looks like he hasn't lost any momentum since Stay-at-Home Story Cup. He's still looking like a mighty savage beast. Where would you, Grubby, if you allow the question, where would you rank him globally in terms of all orcs?
Spiral, let's see. I think at the moment it's fair to say that Spiral is top 2 Western Orc, together with Hitman. Because Hitman has a much better ladder positioning than Spiral, but then Hitman lost early in the Stay-at-Home Story Cup, which was some of Western's best players, and Spiral took second. Now, Hitman, of course, always has that lag component, where he's playing with 190 millisecond delay, and that's a tough argument, really, but it's difficult to know for sure until they would play on LAN, which is what we always used to say, see you at LAN. So I think top 2, top 3 is fair to say. Spiral. And then globally, I find it hard to say. There are some very famous orcs in China and Korea, and that are also very good. And then there are maybe some that I don't even know that are also very good. So I'd say probably Spiral is top 15 orc in the world.
I think with Spiral, you have the one thing, and that's he has to prove himself internationally a little bit more, I feel like, when it comes to standoffs with Asian players in particular. We've seen Hitman do that in the past a little bit more. You know, he was invited to the DreamHack Anaheim tournament, which was offline. We've seen him a little bit more offline in general and play against these big names from China and Korea. Whereas Spiral, I feel like he still has that potential, but we've seen him more when, playing with his team, Oceanus Gaming, which, by the way, he's no longer part of. He recently parted ways with them. So they're now lacking one of their strongest orc players, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, we do have Spiral still in this series. He is up 1-0. And surprisingly, Demu chose the first loser map for himself to be Northern Isles. Northern Isles, I feel like, is quite a good map for Orc. Whereas DeMusliM did not leave that, let's say. Demu went for Northern Isles. If he lost again, it would be Terenas Stand and then Echo Isles. I think Terenas is the best for human, but he picked it second. I wonder if it's Demu's attention spread between 2 different RTSs, SC2 and Warcraft 3, that he spends time studying strats and so on. He spends time playing ladder, but because of his limited tournament experience in Warcraft 3, he hasn't really thought through the value of every map in every matchup, or maybe he feels very comfortable here. He's had good results generally. Be that as it may, Northern Isles is our first go-to for Demu.
That is true. And shoutouts to Neo from Back to Warcraft, by the way, who I'm pretty sure is enjoying Fight Night right now in a comfortable chair with a Colt One in his hand, because I really liked what he said earlier when I watched their stream, Back to Warcraft, that is. And he said that DeMusliM, amongst some others at the top tier echelons of Warcraft 3, is a very smart player. He's insanely thoughtful about what he does and elaborating or evaluating every game, really. And I think that comes with his vast experience through multiple titles. StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, comparing one to the other, what can be implemented that he learned from another game. I think he's very smart, and you can really see that really in his recent growth, right? Imagine someone else coming back after a long, long time of inactivity, storming to ladder rank 1 in the PAT ladder, and now doing so well in multiple tournaments.
Yeah, which Demu did, of course. You're 100% right to point that out. It's really impressive. And just speaking about Demu's plan this game so far, we can see some differences. He's going for the big creep camp on the map, the Ogre Mage, that drops a greater heal, a greater invuln, a Scroll of the Beast, or a Wand of Mana Stealing. When you go for this, you're level 2.2. If you get all your own creeps yourself, you do have to invest more Militia, and they take a bit of damage. He's going to get that Potion of Greater Mana. And at home, Demu has gone for a triple farm opening rather than a double farm opening, which he did last game. He had so much gold because he decided to cut out Footman while also not having food capacity for anything else. That didn't really work out for him because he had a 1300 gold bank when he reached tier 2, unable to spend it. Now, quick Arcane Tower, plenty of peasants. I count 8. He lost 1, so he had 9, and he's making a 10th. That's a lot of peasants, 10 peasants on lumber. Arcane Tower ready, triple farm, footmans have been produced. And now Demu has sent some of his units across the map. I see footman at the top right. Where did the Archmage go, actually?
He went to the south. It's a little bit hard to see with the blue and blue on Northern Isles, but
yeah, it is.
It's crazy. You saw that correctly, Grubby. Like, he basically just went past the Archmage, and we didn't see one of those early exchanges, between the two ranged heroes just trading blows, trying to hurt each other. He basically just wanted to get the Farseer as far away from his base, I feel like, and his early creeping grounds as possible by distracting him with the footmen. And even now, that seems to work. Spiral is chasing down the hurt footies, which, mind you, is not bad by any means, reducing the number of units and getting experience for free. But that means that Demu now has a lot of time to creep the Murlocs and to basically make sure his base is safe.
Exactly. Nothing is for free. Everything... Oh, the Grunt steals the... Null Purger at the bot. Very well done by Spiral. Sloppy by DeMusliM. Some of the best humans have gotten much better at denying the denies of these creeps, the steals.
Oh, the Farseer is going to get the claws.
Oh, yeah, if he goes for it.
Yeah, if he saw it and wants to go for it, the Grunt should have seen it. Then he can just easily get there. Demu is nowhere near. He realized that it's too late. He can't make that. Even if he were to go there, Spiral is just looking too strong, man. With one Grunt there, the Wolves and the Farseer, but he doesn't go for it. Maybe he didn't see it after all.
I think he forgot, and he's mindful of the fact that Archmage is creeping somewhere else on the map. He knows the game plan by Demu, which actually is, it should be said, because Demu has had many losses. So what is his game plan, right? It is a kind of ignore the little things type of gameplay, where you go for several different camps on the map, and you get level 3 Archmage as quickly as possible. And he would have had it too, if not for that one Grunt stealing the Null Purger at the bottom. Level 3 with a quick Greater Mana Potion means spamming Water Elementals level 2 in your opponent's base. Instead, Demu needs to still creep one more camp, the other Null Warden, and the question is he even going to be getting that one?
Oh my god, level 3 is so close. Demu gets that one. Really, really important for that. Level 2 Water Elementals, of course, is a whole different ballgame when it comes to defending the Orcish heroes and units. The Grunt being evacuated, and now DeMusliM needs to be very careful. Does he want to enter the base? Does he have shield upgrade? I do not believe so. So he's hunting down that Grunt, taking damage from the barrels. Wolves are here, TC is here, and he gets that Grunt, but he's trapped now with the units.
Yeah, he's going for broke. He wants to get that Grunt, doesn't really care, doesn't really have control over what he's going to lose, and it is everything. Most of the footies got killed by burrows, which means no experience will be granted to the Orc player. He got two... Let's see, I think he got 2 footmen. Yeah, one footman got killed by burrows.
Yeah.
And this is just to delay the TC from getting level up. That's why the human is here. But it is done so in a semi-sloppy manner by Demu, allowing Water Elementals to get surrounded. Or maybe it was a mind game. He said you can get these Water Elementals.
Peon block so smart, so the Water Elementals couldn't follow after that Grunt, but DeMusliM getting close to the Peon, so with hitbox blocking, the Water Elemental was spawned behind him and can now chase down the Grunt. Super cool micro mini steps here by both players, and the Grunt is falling. 2 Grunts down for Spiral, and DeMusliM walks away with a laughing and a crying eye, because true, he lost all his footies, but the TC was stalled, like Grubby said, and Grunts were killed, which is a pleasure for every human player.
Yeah, the clause of attack is still available. I think everyone has forgotten about it for now. Maybe very late game, suddenly, when all the map is empty, you'll see it coming up. But for now, TC is level 1.9. Many units were killed. Demu didn't try to deny any of his own units, so experience was given to the TC. It's not as much as it would have been had it come purely from creeping. Yep. That was the goal for Demu, and now he's coming again with 2 heroes to delay the TC some further. But he has to be careful of a Purge around.
Oh boy, Purge, Ensnare, Stun. A whole abundance of CC means is available for Spiral. The Speed Scroll being popped preemptively so he can continue the chase. Chain Lightning is not available for the Farseer right now. That could have been the finishing blow. Mountain King is fast. 1 attack, low roll. TC doesn't get the kill. God. And the Mountain King lives for now. And now, I think 1 Shaman, I'm not sure what the corpse is, but 1 Shaman may have fallen. 2 Shaman are fallen now as well.
It's a Raider and a Shaman.
Raider and a Shaman. That's pretty insane.
This was insane. He sacrificed a Water Elemental or 2, I think 1 Footman, 1 Water Elemental, and he killed a Raider and a Shaman while also depleting 2 Shaman Purges. Very good result for Demu. And a Speed Scroll, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good for DeMusliM, looking way more stable, I would say, than in the previous game. TC got that level 2, 2.5 from the gold mine creep, and the Farseer is lurking and looking around what DeMusliM could do, because with such a strong early performance, the human may very well just try to go for an expansion, which is definitely a possibility here. The militia on the way could just be used for additional creeping meat shielding, but let's see what DeMusliM wants to do. The Farseer is nearby.
I think your first instinct may be correct. It may indeed be an expansion. It kind of feels like you've delayed the Orcs tech by killing some of those tech units. Militia are staying in position. It is going to be a counter expansion. The money lines up. In the meantime, Spiral has started one of his own. He's stuck at 40 food because he wants his fourth burrow here at the expansion. Eventually fortified defenses and to defend it. But in the lottery of item luck, Kendric, we see TC with Pendant of Energy. We see a Mountain King with a Ring of Protection +4.
Yeah, and there's still a great Amana that could be transferred to the Mountain King as well when he gets online. You know, level 2, level 3, most importantly, with Clap, should he want to go that route. Preemptive stun on the TC, so he can stun. A game of stuns, some people call this matchup as well, when those two heroes are on board. The Priest is falling, though, and snares are flying. The Kodo munches on a Spellbreaker, one of the most important units to take care of here. The caster backline is getting demolished by the by the TC once more. And the Water Elemental is falling as well. Another great trade for Spiral, who licked his wounds and came back much stronger than before.
With most of the casters killed and no attempt to move out of the stomp radius, DeMusliM now has very little backup and support for his sorceresses and priests. He realizes he's left without defenses at the expansion, and some people will be confused by his departure out of the game, but realistically, his Mountain King had no mana. He saw a level 3 TC, level 3 Farseer. His expansion was going to get wrecked. He had one sorceress, and he was working on 1 or 2 breakers. Again, not the most strong setup from DeMusliM. He looks a bit demotivated, unbelieving, uninspired. Not the positive demo that I heard on his stream recently, where he said he was motivated to do his best. That was a bit of a lackluster performance. He shouldn't be blamed too much for it, though, because sometimes people, they have some bad results and they lose confidence, and it may look a little bit something like this.
Yeah, that is a tough pill to swallow for DeMusliM, that's for sure. Going down 0-2 against your nemesis race, if we are to believe his own estimate. And Spiral is just ice cold, man. It looks like he leaves no chance untaken when it comes to disrupting your opponent's gameplay to punish unfavorable trades. And I really think the lack of footmen, losing this many units, getting stalled out by the TC there as well, it was just too much, and you could not really come back from that. It was just like so many units were sacrificed. And true, Spiral lost grunts as well. The thing is, grunts after tier 2 are not really a factor anymore. And if you maintain the TC, that would have been more important. But if you have shamans out, raiders out, nobody is missing grunts.
And I think it's not just about what you kill and what you lose, but it's about what could you do better. What could you have done to be more ahead? And we see this game plan of quick Archmage 3, but it fell like it's a big risk versus reward. It's basically human creeping in 4 different places, sometimes at the same time. And all you need to do, he saw the grunt, all you need to do is to put the Null Warden on 40 life, hold, let the grunt do his attack or block him, and then kill it. Had he done that, he would have had a much stronger attack. Even now, he already killed 2 grunts and then a shaman and a raider, losing 3 footmen, which should be a good trade. But it's every little bit. Warcraft 3 is not just a game of timings. 6 Banelings against the cybernetic score, blow it up, get through, Zerglings flood into the main, over. SC2, of course, is also a lot about micro, but if you have the opportunity to deny your own water elemental and not give 60, 70 experience to the opponent by hitting it with your own Archmage, you do. And then suddenly you're really denying the TC experience, because he's there to stop the TC from leveling up, but in the process gives him level 1.6 purely from his own units, while then still allowing the TC to creep all around him. So it doesn't seem like the strongest play. And even if he had gone for double sanctum and with the way he played it, his first unit should be like sorceresses, so he can start slowing everything that Spiral has. 2 Sorks, 2 Priests, then Breakers. But he made like an amalgamation of Priest and Sork. You don't want to come in and start healing when you're doing like constant aggressive play. It's about getting those slows off. So I don't feel like body and purpose are aligned in demo. Yeah. And that's a pity to see. I like to see highest level Warcraft, and I know he's capable of better.
And there's just this one big moo cow that needs to be controlled and contained a little bit better. So far, DeMusliM has been grabbing the bull by the horns, and the response was not very pleasant. Spiral looking very strong with this initiations in particular, I feel like maneuvering the TC into a favorable position and getting as much value with this opening move has proven to be super valuable. Oftentimes, when we see humans perform a little bit better against Orc, we will see them split their units a little bit faster, keeping the stuns on the ETC, just basically not getting caught in a dire situation. And Spiral, whether it's because of his own skill and expertise, or because of Demu's sloppiness, has been able to execute that every single time.
Yeah, I think Spiral is playing this very well.
Yeah.
I've played this matchup a lot recently, and I see Spiral playing it very similarly in a good way, and sometimes knowing exactly what to do, making the right decisions, doing a lot of things better, like preparing for the troll priest hiring. Spiral looks like he is playing in the meta, and it's not that he is playing perfectly, it's just that nothing he would potentially normally get punished for, he's not getting punished for it. It would require someone to be playing at his level to suddenly see weaknesses, openings created, for him to drop his macro. But if you're not really being pressured, then making no mistakes is easy.
Oh, by the way, look at this, Grubby. Terenas stand, we see Mountain King first from Demu.
Yeah.
This is something that's pretty much unique to this map only, I would say, in this matchup. Because of the early strong creeping you can do, the items you can snatch, it's basically there to enable that carry as soon as possible. And you said it earlier, this is the human favorite map per se. This is really where Demo needs to make a stand. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's true. And I knew he's going to play this here for many reasons. He also beat me with this build on Terenas stand, Mountain King and Fast Expand into Griffins. Yeah. He was also active as a pro player when this build was meta. We had Sky playing this first in WC3 2006 in Monza in Italy. That's where he pioneered the build, Mountain King Expo. To deal with difficult maps, Knollwood was actually a map where Orc had a massive advantage against human. And okay, MK got it, and MK close. Got it. Yeah.
Looked
and
very
Knollwood
close.
was practically impossible for human. And then Sky came up with this Mountain King Fexpo. Farseer was the meta back then as well. And he just started dominating Orcs with it. Demu still plays his style pretty well. And he's got some good results with it. Yeah.
Gets every creep, doesn't get slowed too much by the frost armor, and builds a scouting farm immediately with those workers to have, of course, these mercenaries available at a later stage in time. Nice Shadow Priest, by the way, early on against the Wolves. That's another big factor, of course, that needs to be considered in this matchup. When there's mercenary camps available on the map, the early Dispel against Keeper, against Farseer can be invaluable. Nice anti-surround with the Spirit Wolves here as well, and Spiral still needs to be careful. There's another Bolt where that one came from. He even has Wand of Mana Stealing, uses it right now. Bolt comes through, and is the damage going to be enough to force a TP? He can go for another one if he wants to.
Spyro has one goal here. He knows he has the TP. He just wants to waste as many bolts as possible while also killing the priest. That was the maximum attainable result for him, and that is what he did. He will now heal up and go again. And he likes to know that the Mountain King is more out of mana. He will go in again and summon Feral Spirits and do distant harass. He's not going to commit his Farseer within that zone of influence that the Mountain King can have to do a bolt surround. And in fact, no, he changed his mind. He's going to do Lightning Shield creeping on the Renegade Wizard. He figured it's too risky to go again. I know Mountain King still has one charge of Wand of Mana Steal, so I am at risk if I go there. Let's get some of our own creeping. That leaves Demu to creep. What does he get? Pendant of Energy. That's huge.
Yeah, that's what the ETC had last game, Grubby. Chat noticed it immediately as well. When you see those beefy strength heroes, TC, Mountain King, and they get a big mana pool with the pendant or a big mana potion, that is basically heaven on earth. But yeah, I like the decision by Spiral, also realizing that if he were to interrupt DeMusliM at the creep with the militia and the workers, there's even more units that could surround after a Stormbolt, so that could have resulted in a very, very uncomfortable situation. Now, Demu building up expansion at the natural, and what is Spiral's response? So far, he's been very keen on making counter expansions as Orc.
Yeah. Demu, Spiral to make counter expansion?
Yeah.
Mostly he's been the initiator, right?
True,
He actually initiated 2 out of 3 games.
True.
And now it is indeed the counter expansion necessity. He knows where this is going. Any Orc, any player worth their weight in salt knows at this point it's going to be Mountain King Fast Expo into Griffins. And so that doesn't mean that you will immediately get Bat Riders, Headhunters, Raiders, or Wind Riders, all presumed counters to Griffins. First, you need to establish a foothold on the map with Torrent Totem, Spirit Walkers, because MK with Stormbolt level 2, if you went for it, can kill unit after unit so easily if there is no Spirit Link. So typically, you do the quick TC and Walkers and Raiders, do a bit of creeping, if possible aggressive creeping, denying a circle around Demu's base of creeps. For example, this orange camp that Demu is standing in front of now, that would be one of the main camps that Spiral would love to creep. But above all, he needs to put up his own counter expansion. Doesn't have a lot of money though. Is set to make some units. And also wants to counter expand. So this is definitely a very gradual point. You may feel uncomfortable as an Orc to be like, oh, I need my counter expansion now. But first you need to survive. Farseer actually takes a big one on the face. Yeah. There is a greater healing potion.
He took a big one to the face, has to use the greater healing immediately because he knew hammer time wasn't over just yet. The MK definitely had more where those came from. So, by the way, Grubby, I wanted to ask you this. Do you usually play this Mountain King solo, or do you see maybe a Blood Mage being added later for increased burst damage even?
It's Paladin second.
Paladin second, okay.
Yeah, Holy Light with Devotion Aura. Devotion Aura will help to reduce the damage from Bat Riders on your Griffins, and will pair up with natural armor upgrades on Griffins. So normal is 0-3 Griffins. Quickly with Devotion and then Protection, and if the game goes very long, Inner Fire. And what that does is it turns bats from a double bat on a Griffin kill to even 4 bats don't kill a Griffin. And then if you can Heal Scroll, Regen Scroll, Holy Light, or Staff of Sanctuary in between Bat Rider explosions, you can have 5 bats explode on a Griffin and not kill it. So you go from...
Which sounds absurd.
It's absurd, it's really. But it takes a while, and it typically needs a third base. It's a very fun style, I think, from both sides to play, having played it from both sides many times. But it does need economy. So the Orc counter expands, and I've seen often if the human can do 1 cancel on the counter expansion, they're in a really, really good spot. If they get not 1 cancel on the counter expo, Orc has a chance to prepare for this appropriately. And the Mountain King accidentally walks into the Renegade Wizard camp. That's the way the pathing works on this map. It happens way too often. There's for some reason the units just take a step to the right and then go around. So Mountain King now tries to go for the expansion. He has a priest and 2 footies. He's going to do a double dispel on a wolf. So he has a Mountain King and 2 footies. No protection items on the Mountain King. I think it's going to be very difficult to get this cancel for Demu.
Yeah, he's trying to get the cancel. He does have +9 damage on the MK. The footies there as well. But is it going to be enough? It's going to be very, very difficult. He's not even that low HP. That high HP. So yeah, he has to basically peace out. Doesn't even try to get the footies out there. I mean, ain't nobody got time for those little buggers anymore at this point anyways, because he's gearing up for defenses. He wants to go tier 3 as quickly as possible. The Griffin Aviaries are on the way, at least one of them that is, and Blacksmith coming through for those armor upgrades that Grubby mentioned earlier. So yeah, for him, it's all about stalling time, preventing the Orc from coming in there until there's a sizable number of towers, which I think at this point has been achieved.
Yeah, I think he's got way more than enough towers. In fact, this is such a defensive map. I don't think you need any towers, actually. If you look at the way Spiral was playing it, not once has he crossed the halfway point with his army. Wait, is that true? No. He was on the human side of the map.
He was kind of here earlier near the expansion.
I still feel though, if you're defending against this army with one guard tower, one arcane, it will take a while to bust through that if you look at the buffering buildings.
Yeah.
And then Demu could have hired 2 mercs. If you see how close he was to cancel this expansion, the fact that he has a farm at the mercenary camp, there's a direct path to the expansion that was not scouted. And when Demu left, Spiral immediately left the expansion and went to creep. If at any point during that he had hired 1 forest troll berserker, he would have got the cancel on this expansion. And that's going to be the difference between the mining that he gets, and that would cost Spiral lumber. He may not have gotten fortified defenses as quickly. Then Griffins maybe could get some burrows. Everything adds up, you know.
Yeah. Paladin reporting for duty. Like you said, Grubby, the more army you can muster, the better for your Griffins. The aviaries are standing 3 at a time. The bank is looking good. A little bit low on lumber, but that should be fixed momentarily because he did build a lot of buildings, so wouldn't be worried too much about that. So Spiral, what can he do? Is he going the Bat Rider route, which sooner or later will go very, very inefficiently in trading?
Yeah, that will take a while though. If you look at the timings of the blacksmith, it was late. There's 0-1, he's now making 0-2. And it's always a question. I think from experience, Human has had 2 historic timings. You had the Sky timing, the Chinese legendary human player. It was 65 food. 0-1 or 0-2 upgrades, and you go with 65, 70-ish food. You attack with 6+ griffins, and you do an early trade, an early fight. Then you had Infi style, which was maybe like 3k gold on 50 food, and then do like an 88 food timing. You go all the way into low upkeep max, 80, and then you make max over and you go. That one is about pure spreading and efficiency. The other one is about rushing and overwhelming. If you look at Spiral right now, he's got that Goblin Shredder, but it's being hunted. That's a great job by Demu to hunt it. Every second the Shredder isn't mining, it's delaying the necessary 3rd bestiary, which there isn't now. And he's only got 66 lumber. 2 peons on lumber at home. If this Shredder keeps getting chased, Demu is doing a fantastic job. He knows exactly what to prioritize. The Shredder's getting repaired, but he's buying time for his Griffins to win the rat race, the arms race.
Incredible.
Oh my god, he's getting it!
Yeah, he's getting it. So many bashes coming through. He might lose the Paladin, but that was well worth it overall. Is there a Zeppelin to evacuate? No, nothing of the sort. Uses the TP, but that was okay. He still has 2 bays, fully mining. He disrupted Spiral so hardcore, not only crippling him in lumber aspects, 1 measly lumber is in his bank right now.
He got another shredder.
Yeah, he can get another shredder, which is what he should do immediately. And maybe even keep that in the main base. What do you think? Because I think at the expansion, it's just too unsafe.
Yeah, I think so. And he wanted to mine from the expo, right? And he did a bit, and then he was just running around. Now he's going to send it to the main. In fact, the best play would have been to cut 1 tree, take a step home, cut 1 tree, take a step home to stutter step micro it. That's how much he needs the lumber right now. I've done that in the past when necessary. Now, 0 bats on the field. There's a lot of gold, but he's only got lumber for 2 bats. There's no 3rd bestiary. Starting 1 bat, see? He needs 40 per bat. Here should come the 2nd. And if you look at Demu, he actually misunderstood what timing would be appropriate for him. He is going for the 0-3 armor timing, which is fine to upgrade, but he was actually holding production at 42 plus food. So he was at 42 and 50, and he was just kind of waiting, not recognizing the extremely tenuous position that Spiral was holding. After killing and hounding down the Shredder, he should have immediately pushed with his first 3 Griffins, maybe the first 6. Even now, I still think he's in a good spot. But even with the dead Paladin, he could just go and start trading, I think. However, here we go with the first 3 Griffins. This is called a softening up attack. He's got many Griffins producing at home. He just wants to get that Shredder again, and he's getting it!
The heavy armor is so susceptible to those magic attacks. He gets it immediately, and he's not done yet. Diving deep into the peon line. Has a TP, of course, and a staff if one of his units or the Mountain King himself were to get focused down. The Paladin is in the mix. Both human heroes, of course, out of mana right now. The bats in position are ramming themselves into the Griffins. They get 1 for their good measure, but 1 is still alive. And I think the other one was staffed out, wasn't it?
I think 1 got ensnared and killed, 1 got staffed, and 1 got killed by the bats. So 2 Griffins dead, 1 a bit saved up. And now the Griffins are 0-3 and he's getting an attack upgrade. I think Demu has 2 choices now. He can take the 3rd base at the top right, tower it up while attacking, or he can go all in. If we look at his items, he doesn't have heal scroll, protection scroll yet, so it doesn't feel like he's going all in though.
Yeah, he's a little bit reluctant right now to really drive the spear deep into Spiral's side, you know? He's a little bit hesitant, reluctant. That could really bite him. The more time you give Spiral to level up the heroes, the more bats he can accumulate, the more there's a chance you can still give this game out of your hands.
Yeah, and there is, of course, a 3rd Shredder on the field now to the left of Demo. If he finds it, and he's actually got a chance to find it, which would be insane, that could just be nail in the coffin, because Spiral has no peon number almost. He's got 5 peons now. He's making some bats, but he cannot sustain this fight for long. He's gonna go for the fight. Demu goes in with the bolt. Nice spread on the Griffins. That was a triple Bat Rider. Accidentally aggroes the camp. That's poison on everything. Chain Lightning, but a nice staff of Sanctuary by Demu. This is a fantastic start for him. So many bats exploded. So few Griffins died. We have a 67 versus 48 food advantage for Demu. He had shown a great mastery of this build. I would even love to see him play this on different maps.
Absolutely. This is looking rock solid right now. There's more and more Griffins coming through. These bats, sure, they're looking good on paper, but they're just the ones getting hunted right now. From predator to victim to prey. And I don't think there's anything left Spiral can do other than buy time, lame it out, somehow, some way, come to a somewhat decent number of Bat Riders, perhaps. At least he got this 1 Shredder through, which is currently... Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. For a moment, I thought that one was gone as well, but it's in the base.
Yeah, it took a while to get there. He's put it in a 3rd location. And Demo actually did a cool hybrid here of decision-making. A little bit of creeping in mid, albeit very unimportant camps. I think he was a bit timid with that, not going for any of the big ones. But forcing a kind of a fight. He killed a Kodo, got some bat explosions, got a bit of value of Staff of Sanctuary. You think about it, Staff of Sanctuary has like a cooldown, right?
Yep.
So if you use it on cooldown to save someone that got really hurt, that's better than just having it and sitting in your inventory. So Human does want these skirmishes now and then, has now secured himself a tower line for his next base so that he can keep up upgrades. 2 attack upgrades are coming, another masonry upgrade is coming, actually the first one is coming in, so that buildings will be a bit tankier. And eventually, we could imagine seeing Sanctums coming out with Priests and Inner Fire.
Whoa, Grubby, that is so many Griffins. 1-3 for upgrades. They're going to demolish what is left of Spiral's base here. Finding 1 bat en route, super good to always catch those little buggers while, you know, they're en route to reinforce the armies.
Every bat helps.
Yeah. Every little tiny bit helps. Chain Lightning is good. That is one of the few efficient weapons that... look at this spread. Look at this spread on the Griffins. The explosions connect, of course, but they don't hit a large portion of these Griffins. They get a couple of them weakened, but hey, it's still too many. I feel like Spiral, he's desperate right now. Doesn't, of course, have the Blade Master with Lightning Orb. You know, that would be something you would love to have at this point. Another Chain Lightning, looking okay though. Healing Ward, that doesn't do a lot though. Now it is the TC that's surrounded by units. Does have a couple of Raiders left though, so you could ensnare the heroes or the Griffins depending on what he wants to do. Paladin dies though. Level 5 on the TC.
No problem. No problem, Paladin die. That was good Bat Rider trades. Does need to get that Griffin away. Didn't have a staff anymore. This is a massacred income though. There is another base for Spiral at the bottom of the map, but we're in a 59 situation. 59 food versus 35. He's gonna try to get that final peon. Actually greedily bolts the low one. He could have tried to greed, but of course there's War Stomp level 3.
Yeah. He did have the TP, of course, so all DeMusliM with that MK wanted to achieve was to lay him out as much as possible, get another peon under his belt. So, Grubby, what is left for Spiral to do? I mean, his TC is looking strong, but he's not the carry that a Blade Master could be, you know, with an orb, with tons of damage left available. He does have mana, but what good is it? What good is a stomp against air units? I guess... what now Spiral needs to do is get as many Raiders and Bats as possible to somehow stay in this. But look at the towers, man. The Ivories, the Masonry upgrades. It is a human real estate dream right now with the top right expansion.
What a beautiful skyline here for the Earth dwellers. Nice towers there. One masonry upgrade as well. We have a very bigly upgraded griffins, 2-3 at the moment. Not working on that 3-3 yet.
Yeah.
Paladin coming back. Spiral trying to find some angle. But in comes Mountain King with the Griffins again. We're getting very close to the point of no return for Spiral. He TP's in, level 5.7 Farseer. Chain Lightning, level 3. In comes 2 Bat Riders. Boom. 2 Griffins dead. War Stomp. He could actually go with the Cyclone and do another War Stomp to link up the stuns.
Oh, that's exactly what he's going to do. If he gets the Mountain King level 5, this would be insane. We have the Cyclone, the Stump as well. Just misses a tiny millisecond too early for the perfect CC Wombo combo. And the Mountain King gets the safety, Grubby.
I think it should be said that I've never tested whether you 100% can do this. You stomp, you cyclone, and then you hit the second stomp on the very frame that the Mountain King descends. TP post-invul, you can spam it, should be instant on the first frame. So I would say that if you are just even 1 frame late, and I don't know how many frames there are in a second actually, but if you're 1 frame late, the MK will TP. Your War Stomp will miss, but that's fine, because Stomp has limited utility against air anyway. It's fine to waste mana that way. However, Stomp was a little early, so we won't know whether it was going to be on time, whether it would work. But nice try. Demu actually did not TP, which is the crazy part. That means that Stomp would have hit if it was on the right time, because Demu didn't TP. Or maybe it's because he saw that the Stomp already missed. So he even went for another bolt on a walker, killed it. Just amazing results here for Demu. Very cost-efficient trades. We're 59 food versus 28. Demu is breathing down victory here as he's corralling the Farseer into death.
Farseer has no TP, mind you guys. The invul is all he had. Memes were justified plenty here, mind you, by the Bad Riders. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Here comes another hammer to the face. Hammer as a follow-up. Level 6 MK marches in with a firework. And DeMusliM holds his ground on Terenas stand. He won't go down without a fight, at least. That is good to know. That is exactly the human performance that we wanted to see on this map.
Yeah, he will not go quietly into the night. And I think if you know Demu and you've seen his stream, moments like this, they energize him. He gets emotionally charged from it. He'll be like, whoo, like his hands will be shaking. He was like, oh, that was a cool game. Like, I feel really good about this. And it's nice to see that he cares so much. And whereas before he looked uninspired, it seems like he's really having fun with this build. So if I were his coach, I would say just play Mountain King Expo again. Either on all the other maps, at least you'll have fun. Maybe you'll win because of it. Maybe you'll win because you're playing the build better. And that's going to be better than like being like, I don't believe in this Archmage Double Sanctum stuff, but I'm just going to go through the motions.
I can already imagine the picture in my head. Demu in the ropes, you know, in the corner. Grubby the coach with a towel, just preparing him. Demu, go for the Griffins again. Griffin strike. Let's do it. Oh, man. Yeah, but I agree with you. You know, I really think his quote-unquote standard play with Archmage casters, it didn't look that good. It felt very much outplayed and outperformed by Spiral on any occasion. Let's see. Spiral lost for the first time, so his map is Amazonia. So it's a much smaller map than Terenas in terms of walking distance. So
it is possible that this time Demu will play better the standard build because of the motivation of winning a map. Things change a lot in a series like this. And I think you have to get in your opponent's head as well. You're thinking now, okay, Spiral just won 2 of the Farseer versus Archmage games. I won with MK. Is Amazonia a good map for Mountain King Fast Expansion? No, not exactly. We've seen Yumiko do some Mountain King Naga Sea Witch builds. You go for that early Stormbolt around, then you try to get Naga, you try to win early. Looked awful. No results with it. But could try something like that. Another thing you could try is like a Firelord Tower Rush suddenly. It's a small map. Orcs have been getting greedier and greedier because they are always the aggressor. So that's something Demu could try to do back. In a small map like this, there's no chance to kind of play your own game, do some creeping. So whatever Demu was trying on last Refuge would get punished even more on this map.
By the way, Asgard in our chat on Heroes Hearth, he said, as a Dota player, I can say people can queue the use of the invulnerability after the Cyclone. So I can see that in Warcraft 3 Dota being like a combo between abilities.
Q, well, you can press Cyclone and then Q a Stomp, but that doesn't mean that Stomp will hit at the end of Cyclone, does it?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Oh, Q the use of Invul after the Cyclone?
Yeah, so he's basically saying the hero that got Cycloned can use the Invul, I guess, after.
Of course. And TP is like an Invul. That's what I'm saying. It will activate on the first frame.
Yeah.
The question is, can Stomp also activate on the first frame and then hit?
That would be insane to know.
If you time it perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't work. Probably it would require like I don't know the human to be.
The odds would be 1 to a very large number against Spiral in that case. But yeah, cool insight, of course. The old Eul Scepter, Dota item. Very cool to see. But yeah, guys, we're going to Amazonia right now. Can DeMusliM continue riding the wave of momentum on this map? Or is Spiral, who feels very comfortable, obviously, on this map on Amazonia, put another dent into the armor of the human?
Our altar first by Demu with that 5 peasant on gold once again. He's going to pull a peasant from his gold line to make a farm when the next peasant is about 80%, right about now. Going to start a farm. Next one will be a barracks. And then he'll fill the gold mine again for a bit and then make the next farm. Spiral with an open base layout. Burrow to the front to protect against tower rushes from the north 180 degrees of his base.
Man, I would love to see a tower rush.
Me too. We don't see it as much because militia timing is 5 seconds less than 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think towers cost slightly more, especially ivory towers. But it is still possible. It was better against Blade Master, though. Better than against Farseer.
100% agree. 100% agree. So, no Mountain King here. DeMusliM is saving that one for maybe another map, but not on this one. I guess there's many reasons that speak against the Mountain King fast tech Griffin strategy here. Like we said earlier, the map is much smaller, so it's not that easy to kite your opponent around like on Terenas, you know, where if you hit the expansion, it's going to take the army of your opponent so long to get there if they're not super close immediately. On Amazonia, of course, that is a whole different beast. Yeah, and I think, I'm not sure if that's true for DeMusliM here, but I think he's a very competitive person, and I think he kind of wants to prove it, that he can beat Spiral with quote-unquote standard meta builds.
It would be huge. Spiral is the second player behind Happy at the previous recent tournament.
Absolutely.
All the best competing players were in it, and so Spiral goes for a quick pass. 1 sec.
Did you hear, by the way, that according to Neo, back to Warcraft earlier, Happy announced that he would play random in the upcoming ESL Cup?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
That's cool.
Haven't actually seen him play anything else like in a tournament other than Undead. So
yeah, not in a tournament. That's true.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got plenty of request experience.
I think it was a request. Yeah.
Some people say actually when they watch him play, they think that he's the best European orc.
Oh,
when
really?
you compare him to people like Cash and Spiral, just from watching him play, he plays with presumably no study, no practice, heavy thinking on how to play Orc, and he can still get like 80-90% win rate with Orcs just because of his mechanics.
Wow.
I haven't seen it as much to make that judgment, just some people say. Happy fans. But it's incredible, isn't it?
It's really incredible, and that really speaks, of course, once again for his exceptional talent, but also I would love to see if, you know, sometimes with a spark of accident or an accidental spark of genius, some new things can be discovered that way. You know, when someone approaches a class without any prejudice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be surprised, Kendric. You're 100% right, because TH and Infi, who are main human players, though they have been random for a very long time, I watch them a lot when they play Orc, because they always do something different.
Yeah. Speaking of which, of course, Infi looking super strong at the moment. He even played Orc today, or rather random, I should say. And Orc was that, and did very well against Focus. Beat him a couple of times, so...
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. Infi, TH looking very strong.
The reason I love them doing that is just because it goes beyond every juvenile argument of balance, every self-responsibility shirking argument of balance. And it's just like, no, you see these 2 to 3 players, they're winning with any race.
Yeah, so true. In the meantime, we see a little bit of an altercation in the middle. Nice footy kill here for Spiral. The footies, though, too great a number for him to continue that for too long. Hunts another one down. Archmage, by the way, not really super fast on creeping. Too large is the disruption once again by Spiral, who almost overtook him, you know. Level 2 and a little bit. Oh, the creeps. Oh, no. I think the Farseer actually got that footy. So sick. So not even the creeps were able to deny it.
Think so too. So that's 2 footies run down, and that's the nature of things with Farseer Lightning Shield creeping on this map. You get FS2 so quickly. Chain Lightning does 85 damage on the first target. So Footmen actually reach the lethal point where they can be finished off really early on. So you need to start pulling them back when they're like 60% life. That's the curse of low health units. Yeah. And Demu keeps committing these footies. He takes a few hits. You see that footie? That one has to go back, or it can get blocked a bit, attacked a bit, and then Chain Lightning. 2 footies have gone down, and what I really like in what Spiral has been doing, he has resisted using Chain Lightning to finish footies, rather spending some how do you call it, ankle grease, elbow grease, rather than spending. Rather, he would spend elbow grease, do a bit of walking, put the miles in, and then save his mana for later. If he can get level 3 FS, he will have a lot of mana left for Pharaoh's Spirit level 2 or Chain Lightning level 2.
Chain Lightning level 2 sounds really good to me. And oftentimes I feel like, that's just my personal point of view though, and feel free to disagree with it, but I oftentimes feel like Chain Lightning is such an undervalued spell, because many players seem to always go for Wolves level 2 for obvious reasons, because it's fantastic to have these
bonus army.
Yeah, but oftentimes I feel like Chain Lightning level 2 for stealing creeps, you know, to really execute low-level units. I feel that's such an undervalued spell.
True, it's very good, and you'll see people pick that over Wolves if there's a significant dispel against Wolves.
Yeah.
So for that reason, sometimes you see that early Chain Lightning. FS4, of course, always has it all. Yeah.
Although we did see great examples of Farsight every now and then. Kiwi likes to run it. You did it on your stream. I saw a couple of Farsight games.
At level 7 Farseer, or 6. Not at 4.
All right, here we go. TC creeping has begun. This is, of course, the moment where the war drums of the Orcs in the back, they're starting to spin faster, run faster. You gotta get that ETC roll in level 3 as fast as possible. In the meantime, Farseer continues to do what he does best. Now, that Sasquatch, man, if he gets that one... Oh,
he steals it!
Steals it with a Chain Lightning. I love that spell. I told you, man, I love it.
And Chain Lightning has a short delay.
Yeah.
So there's the crackling animation, and then it lands. Maybe it's 0.35 second delay, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is a lovely steal. Sasquatch gives so much experience, maybe like 80, and yet it is preventable. Mountain King was there. It comes from a kind of lackadaisical attitude, like, oh, I just hope he doesn't steal it. You can hold at 100 life, wait, bait it, and then kill it. Or you can wait till your MK is there and Stormbolt it. This kind of thing has a big impact, and, you know, you can prevent it.
Oftentimes, you know, in Germany we say, trust is good, but control is better. You can trust in your ability of securing the last hit, but controlling your enemy, preventing them from doing so in the first place, usually the way safer route to go.
Germany's art of war, Sun Tzu's art of war. First make yourself indefeatable before trying to win.
Very true, and here the Horde is on the way, Grubby. Spiral knows exactly where DeMusliM is, and he TPs out to safety. This time though, true, the biggest creeps did go to DeMusliM, but he had to pull the trigger there. Can't go for much more.
Now, in this moment, Demo needs to think, how do I get back into this? So he cleared his own quadrant of the map, the whole 1/4 top right, and there are some creeps left. Small orange in the mid, and then there's the Goblin shop on the left, and then there's the mercenary camp on the top left. He may have TP'd out, but that doesn't mean that he's allowed to get passive. He must immediately fight again. Great decision by him to do so. He's brought militia. This is a big army. Now he needs to micro well in order to win this fight. And TC, of course, does not have TC level 3 yet. There goes the second Stormbolt. No surround attempts, no splitting attempts against the TC at the moment. So no kills have been gained yet for Demu, actually.
And no dispel ready for the human player just yet, Grubby. DeMusliM has no way to deal with this Lightning Shield TC, who's looking so good. Even gets a level up to level 3 right now. A couple of those peasants have already been slaughtered. Gets a double stun on the heroes and the execution with Crackling Lightning Fury. It is Spiral who reigns supreme in this fight. Buys back the Archmage immediately, though. And the Mountain King also nearing his limit there, mana-wise. Purge after Purge is rattling through. Ensnare as well. Invul is popped, though. Now it needs to be surrounded. The Mountain King, that is. Tries to go for the Mountain King instead, though. Archmage in safety right now. Tries to go for the second hero. Gets him right now with another Farseer attack. Gets him.
No heal on the MK. The priests were just auto-casting. Nice focus fire on the shamans, though. And this was a mixed bag for both players. Spiral has an expansion up, so any attrition can be recouped with his expansion. Peons are already on the way. But he did lose every single shaman. He's spending money to heal. So Spiral is roughly in his weakest point in the game right now. And Demu lost 2 of his heroes, rebuying 1, but now the MK is dead. That means no experience for the MK. Archmage will get level 4, but MK will remain at level 2.5 against the high-level TC. So now Spiral starts creeping. His expansion is up. He's probably going to be in a fantastic spot for the next fight.
Yeah, everything is looking so good for Spiral right now. Not only is his expansion up, but also DeMusliM is on the exact opposite corner of the map, so there's no way he could even scout it out, interrupt it. He had to rebuy the Archmage, so expensive, level 3, this early into the game. But most importantly, and what's the gravest crippling factor here, Grubby, is the delay on the Mountain King. TC is spiraling out of control right now in terms of levels, close to level 4. But where's the Mountain King? You know, Mountain King only coming back now with level 2, level 2.5 even, so not even close to level 3.
And where do you get the level up? The only way to get level up now is the mercenary camp at the bottom right, while separating the Archmage away. And the only way to do that is to leave his flank horribly exposed against the spot that Orc would most like to defend, the flank of his expansion. So rather, Spiral probably should not try to creep. He's, Demu. And he's going straight for the expo. So here we go. Sentry ward has been placed by whose sentry is that? Demu.
DeMusliM sentry ward.
Oh, so he can see the invisible MK. Oh, no dispel yet, though. No dispel.
Yeah, sees the TC, tries to keep him at bay immediately. Storm comes through, though, has to pop the invul immediately. Mighty Cow, that is. Full focus on the MK, who uses the counter invul right now. That means Mountain King is protected longer and can drop another Stormbolt if needed. Healing Scroll rattling through, though. Really good counter Healing Scroll. These two players are mirroring each other in terms of how they use the items, but the Mountain King executed once again with lightning, at least needs to run away to safety immediately. Maybe a Peon could even last it, though. A little bugger there as well. Level 4 TC. Mountain King has fallen. The Mountain King is left in shambles, and here are some workers. Rifleman in the back now. The only DPS source left for DeMusliM. Spiral needs to hold this at any given cost. This is the make or break fight of the game, Grubby.
And this is a good fight for Demu. He should do a little bit more pulling away from this position, a bit more kiting. He actually squeezed himself against the forest, but this is a big fight. Water Elemental level 3 is coming out soon, and there are almost no dispels left. There is a single purge, not enough. Now 2 purges. TC has 1 more stomp though, but this is a massive ranged army by Demu. 11 lumber left though. He should be making peasants at home. It is not possible for Demu to make any other units than footmen right now and peasants.
He even bought back the Mountain King at the tavern, otherwise there's no way this little fella could show up that quickly again. But like you said, the Archmage is the carry right now. Brilliance Aura, Sobi Mask. So many water elementals can be spammed through the course of time. Here's another one, and these are huge. Like you said, the low number of purges is critical right now.
MK level 3, there's 1 dispel available on the priest. Is he going to use it to remove the feral spirits? Not yet, but a big Stormbolt lands on the TC, who has a lot of mana, has a mana potion, but doesn't have the health to stay into this fight. Archmage is full life right now, soon has another water elemental.
Wow.
And these water elementals, yes, they provide experience to the Orc, but there is a limited supply of purge available right now. These are really big water elementals. They need a lot of purges. Peons are getting killed, but Demu's still with only 11 lumber. He has stopped the income. I think it's time for Demu to pull back and to spend 600-700 gold on items at the Goblin Shop, but that chance has been taken away from him by Spiral, who's trying to cut off his retreat.
That engage angle was so sick because I think Spiral smelled something similar, like you said, Grubby, you know, that Demu might be on his way back soon to rebuild and recover, so he wanted to try to cut off that potential flight path. But yeah, DeMusliM's forces still look so good. Mana-wise, every second that passes by is going to result in more mana regeneration here with the aura from the Archmage. So yeah, woof, that was an important step for DeMusliM, but what can he do now as a follow-up? If level 5 TC hits Grubby, and if those level 3 stomps connect, this could be, once again, maybe that great comeback that Spiral needs in this one. But once again, great attack by DeMusliM, super strong, who's now having shop control on the right-hand side, gets those healing scrolls, and wants to maybe go for the final killing blow in the Orc base.
Kendric, there's 3 options. What you just said, go for a killing blow, otherwise mercenary camp creeping, or granite golem creeping. There's 3 options, and Demo chooses to go for possibly the smallest reward of all while getting harassed in his main. He's gonna lose peasants. 1 goes down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 peasants have gone down. 1 grunt has died, and that is it. The shaman did not die. We already had Demo on a very poor economy, and it has now been made poorer. Great attack by Spiral, recognizing he needs both the experience and the time in order to get back into this game. And that XP has put TC very close to level 5.
100%. 4.9 for the TC right now. Level 5, that means level 3 wolves against no spellbreakers. This is the dream case scenario. They can't be stolen. They can just run in all the time invisibly and kill more workers. These 2 wolves are going to secure the level 5 for the TC, while also keep on crippling the economy for DeMusliM. True, his army looked great. True, his attack against the expansion was phenomenal, but his base is pretty much in shambles right now. There's no lumber coming in at all, and the gold peons are getting massacred.
He's not moving them. If you move them, you don't lose so many. He left them all, and he's just lost 6 peasants. He's going to go for a final attack and hope that this will be the fight that ends it all. TC is level 5, has Invul, Mana Potion.
Yep. Looking very good. Doesn't have the the Invis sneak attack surprise moment, of course. So he knows exactly, Demo, that is where the cow is going to strike from. Keeps that cow low as well with bolts and bashes as well. Super important to keep that TC Torrent Chieftain under control. And Spiral realizes that he needs to find a better angle. Super good. This is so tense right now. Army-wise, DeMusliM still looking a little bit stronger, but hero-wise, Grubby, that is going to be the big turning wheel for Spiral. Can he get enough Chain Lightnings through? Enough TC Stomps through? Right now, it doesn't look like it.
Wolves in the peasant line again. Stomp simply just to try and get away. He's trying not to use the invul until the next bolt is in the air. Demu is faking a bolt. Lovely.
That was insane. We oftentimes see undead players do that with a coil, but of course humans with Mountain Kings can do the exact same thing. Charging up the ability, but only manually canceling it at the right time, so you can provoke these early, hasty item usages. So sick. But during all of that, look at this. Not a single peasant left for DeMusliM. He's down at 19 gold and can only produce 4 peasants at this given time.
At this moment, Demu needs to play this a little smarter. He can use invisibility to see the movement of the orc. He also needs gold. It is possible for Demu to see where Spiral is, to maybe take a creep camp, and also stop Orc from getting to his side of the map.
He's doing that right now.
He would like...
Yeah, with the invisible on the Mountain King. That was a pretty cool move.
But he bolted the MK. He bolted the TC when he was completely alone.
Yeah. And now wastes the invul, of course. That is something that is also a big difference between the 2 players right now. Spiral, when he uses items, he can rebuy them because his economy is fully functional. Every potion, every item that DeMusliM uses at this point cannot be replaced that easily.
This MK is at risk. There's going to be a big stomp. There's going to be a snare, dust, purge. MK should be falling. That was a very early invul because he revealed himself a little bit recklessly. TC now going for the Archmage.
Going for the Archmage, driving him back a little bit here, but the units are very nicely spread for DeMusliM. Riflemen, I agree with Spiral's choice here, need to be focused. They are the last remaining thorn on the DPS front. Everything is slowed right now, and there's no dispel left on these shamans, so grunts are likely going to fall here. And look at these beefy water elementals leading the charge. It is not easy to get rid of them at this point with shamans and low mana.
Another shaman goes down, but keep in mind...
Altar?
Well, MK is being reproduced. There are no raiders that are fast left, but they are slowly trickling in, and even heroes do respectable damage. Yeah. Wolves kill all the peasants.
No repair.
There's only... Yeah. Looks like he will get the MK.
Yeah, I think he's going for the altar. The two raiders are now arriving. There's no stuns anymore. There's no CC. And look at that. The TP scroll is coming in. No more Mountain King for a quite considerable amount of time. Maybe we're never going to see him, and he's going to never see the light of day again in this game. Solo hero DeMusliM.
Many units were lost for Spiral, and let's take a look at the gold mine as well. 1,300 gold left. That means there could be about 6 more units coming out.
Yeah.
50 food is the limit that Spiral can reach. And of that, 6 are workers. That's not a lot. So he will have a bigger army. And now the Archmage, of course, is going to get focused. There's going to be a War Storm. There's an Invis, but there's also a Dust. There's plenty of Raiders here to go for the Archmage. He has a heal scroll. Tries to get away. Tries to Invis, but it's not enough.
Stumps his way to victory, I think, Spiral, that is. He calls it out. GG DeMusliM. What a nice back and forth. This was probably... all things considered, the most heated and back-and-forth game in this series so far. And, man, I felt like DeMusliM had it. It all started when the Mountain King, out of invisibility, for no reason, I think, stunned the ETC, or the TC.
There was a reason. TC was low, 60% life, and he saw it healing with the heal solve, and he knew that he had to go all in. So Demu wanted to stop that healing early. Yeah. If you Stormbolt a healing solving TC at 60%, that bolt is essentially worth half of the TC's life. You cannot get a bolt high level enough to kill half of a TC's life. So I definitely get it. It was step 1 to try and soften up the TC to maybe win the follow-up fight. But the exact positioning was slightly out of whack. He did it from the left side, and his army was at the top right side and still had to go around the bend. So it was a little bit too much time lag to get to that position. I don't think that was the way to do it. But I do get it, and it was born out of desperation. It all started going wrong when Demu was ahead, but still had that grated cheese opening base layout. Recognizing that you are ahead, have the better army, and then starting to protect your main base, or trying to catch wolves with invisible spotting, like flying machines or magic sentry, maybe leaving 1 or 2 priests at home. All of those would have been the key for Demu to secure the victory. But it requires extensive experience and knowing exactly where you are at any given point in the game. Are you ahead? Are you behind? How could you win? How could you lose? All things considered, Spiral earned this more than Demu lost it. And a very deserving 3-1 lead now for Spiral.
And you know what, guys? We're going to the final map, potentially. It is match point, a couple of match points in a row for Spiral. And the third loser map choice for DeMusliM is Echo Isles. So we're going on a small map, the smallest that we have. And it's been around for a while. What is your take overall in Echo Isles? Because I know a lot of people don't like it. I know Remo is very vocal about it with mercenary camps and small walking paths. What is your take on the map, Grubby?
I love Echo Isles. And I think it's also a good map for Orc.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good fast expansion map for Orc. I think it is indeed small. There aren't a lot of creeps, which means it sometimes ends up to be a kind of a stalemate map. There's only one gold mine. That means even if an enemy expands and you counter expand, whoever gets ahead in the aftermath can never leverage that to take another expansion, a third base, like Demu did on Terenas stand. And what that means is you'll always have equal income, potentially. And that leads to very defensive play, because no one is incentivized to punish the other for being greedy. And if defender's advantage is higher than the attacker's advantage, which it often is due to natural base defenses, then attacking an opponent can seem unpalatable. Both same money, neither wants to attack. Fast forward 30 minutes, right? So it does have the potential to be a slow game, but it can also be a fast game. If one player expands and the other wants to attack and not counter expand.
Indeed. What a sick game that last one was. I'm now watching chat while they catch up on the delay. They seem to enjoy it as much as we did. That was one hell of a match, really. It could have gone either way, I feel like. If that TC falls once, and then DeMusliM immediately goes for the kill in the Orc main base, I think that's it. But Spiral today, he seems unshakable, really. And what I think he does very well today, at least from my perspective, is he makes no mistakes. No sloppy mistakes, at least. You know, he always had the items that he needed.
Ones.
Yeah, like, he never forgets about an invul. He always has healing scrolls when needed. He knows which targets to focus. Doesn't really waste time, you know, letting the humans build up his creep road with the MK. It always seems like he's there when he's needed to be there.
Yep, I agree. And he knew the way to potential victory, even when it seemed dire, and he was down 15 to 20 food. So well done by him. We now move to Echo Isles. We are at match point. Demu is 1-3.
Oh, yeah.
This was his best Archmage game yet, but his only win is born forth from a Mountain King. And I was waiting to see until we would get on another map where Mountain King fast expansion is good. And Echo is a good map for it.
That's true. I want to see it, to be honest. I want to see it again. I want to see the Mountain King Griffin strat that we've seen earlier. If you guys haven't been there, or if you guys weren't there earlier, that happened on map 3 on Terenas stand. And by the way, generally speaking, guys, if you're here, you're enjoying the content, you like the fight night, and you want to see some of the previous episodes that we had, or you want to see some of the earlier games that you missed because you just tuned in, check out our YouTube channel. !YouTube in the chat is basically where you can see all sorts of different Warcraft 3 content. Grubby has some amazing guides there, the latest one going about creeping and the importance of it, and I can already tell you that our peons are working hard, you know, in the lumber mill to produce the next one immediately as fast as possible. And that one is going to be a treat. I already checked out some of the drafting versions, and you guys can look forward to that. But of course, other content like Fight Night interviews. I'm doing a little bit of casting there as well every now and then. So feel free to check out our YouTube. It's really come a long way. And every subscription, every click is much appreciated. Thank you so much, guys.
And with that, we launch into game number 5 after the players needed a 2-minute break. Score reversed again. We have Spiral on the right here, just FYI.
Yeah, everything is good.
All right, Spiral on the right side of the map with the altar, and Demu with the altar to the south side of his base. Now, generally, human builds altar on the top right of their town hall when they go for the 3-3-3 green camp at the north. They build the altar to the south of the town hall when they plan to go for the mercenary camp. Mercenary camp creeping is actually possible with 4 different starting heroes for human. In the professional tournament scene, we have seen 4 different opening heroes for human against Orc. You can go Blood Mage first, you can go Mountain King first, Archmage first, and even Paladin first. Every hero that isn't Archmage needs to fast expand in order to have a chance against Orc. So if you do not see the Archmage, we know exactly what Demu will try to do.
Yes.
Fast expansion.
Exactly. So let's see if we're going to see the Mountain King again. That would be the most logical choice because it worked super well. Yep, there he is for Cosmodon deployed. Now, it has worked so well in Terenas, but of course, Spiral being the absolute pro player that he is, he knows exactly what's coming, and he doesn't go for barracks, Grubby. He goes for early shop. That speaks, of course, for very early harassment, trying to get as much healing and mana on the Farseer. Might even sell the TP. What do you think?
I don't think he will. I think he should have a good read, since I knew he should know too, that it will be Mountain King first. I think he has to keep the TP. The reason he does this, it doesn't actually help protect him from bolts around, get the heck out of my base, but it does protect him from bolt attrition, some attempted surrounds, but a lot of damage. And then eventually Farseer must stay away. If you remember on Terenas stand, Farseer, after the TP, decided not to come back and Lightning Shield creep the mercenary camp.
Yeah.
That's not an option on this map. You cannot Lightning Shield creep the mercenary camp here. That means that Farseer harass has a higher need to succeed ratio. We see Spiral going with the quick priest here, which is just a lovely play. It always gets bolted and killed.
Yeah.
Oh, the self-kill with the peon!
Oh, this guy is gonna get a promotion. Maybe he will be a grunt in his next game, you know. Super sick, though. That is exactly what he needed, but you said it. The priest dies.
Okay. So he got the Ring of Protection, which is very unlucky, let's say. It's the one you don't need with this build. And I could feel his morale dropping. The self-kill on the priest, the denial on the creep, like not being able to get the priest, then the ring, the arrival of the Farseer, and the amount of damage that his units were taking already.
Yeah.
Was this an amazing sense of sportsmanship and entertainment ability and desire for the fans? No. But was this very likely going to be a loss? I would say yes.
Yeah.
Still, I've never done it, but some of the greatest players in the world have done it as well. There was actually a famous game of Infi against Fly at the WCG 2010, I think. No, 2011 maybe, where Infi left at exactly this timing after his mercenary camp creeping got completely messed up. And then he won the next two. But there is no next two now. So Demu lost 1-4.
Yeah.
Spiral won. It was good moves. But yeah, it's a little silly.
It is indeed a tough pill to swallow for the fans out there as well. But of course for DeMusliM as well. He tried really hard in the games he played, but nothing seemed to work for him except for the game on Terenas stand. You know, with the peon deny, it was just too much, really, he felt like. And Spiral, he's shown no gaps. He's shown no weaknesses in his defense. So I think he was assuming, you know, the game is just going to go down a very straight and predictable route. No chance to surprise or no room for error, really, because Spiral was playing so damn well. And can you play it out like Grubby said? Yes, you can. Can we blame him for leaving? Maybe, but it's understandable from some point of view, and other players have done it before.
He was not intentionally throwing.
Exactly.
Here's a man who
he
has
didn't pull
played...
off a hawk who left because of a crystal ball.
Yeah, he didn't leave out of principle.
Yes.
He left because his psyche has been broken. We're seeing, if you will, top sport, even late stage Warcraft 3 esports. Still, we see the frame of a top sporter whose psyche has been broken by lack of confidence and a superior opponent. So it is understandable. It is the bicyclist that angrily throws his bike to the floor in front of his sponsors and fans. It's emotion, overwhelming a person that has had him leave this game. Unfortunate, but the route back was very long and he felt it could not be paved with moves like this. The militia were getting blocked, he was getting hurt by the creeps, he initiated the creeps in the wrong way. So yeah, that is the result. 2 minutes and 34 seconds, the shortest game in Fight Night ever. Demo taps out. But Spiral deserved the victory, 100%. He gets the 4-1 victory, the $200, and he will be playing in our next Fight Night as well, in our next one-on-one Fight Night.
That he will, Grubby, and we have received confirmation that he's down for a quick winner's interview. So we're going to get him on the call as quickly as possible.
All right.
I'm just going to start a new call and invite both of you, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys, let's do this. Man, Spiral, what a show, man. I'm really impressed with his play today. I just really think there was hardly any room for mistake on his side. It was just looking so good. Really, really cool to see. Okay, let's get these two beautiful gentlemen back on the call.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Spiral. Or should we call you Champ?
Hi.
Hey, congratulations for the 4-1 victory and the quickest map win in the entire Fight Night history. How do you feel?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Could you understand DeMusliM leaving there in the final game, or were you a little bit surprised by that quick exit?
If it was a single map, I wouldn't necessarily understand him, but taking the whole series into consideration, especially the game on Amazonia, that probably thought he had already won, I can kind of understand him, because yeah, a lot of things went wrong in the start in these like 2 minutes 30 seconds or what it was. me denying my own priest and the speed score fast arriving super fast, not the greatest item drop, so I can kind of understand him.
But this is not just about the broken psyche of one man. It is about the victory of another. Spyro, congratulations with a wonderful 4-1 victory, and you will also be in our next Fight Night. So congrats with that. We had some cool games here. We go with the start where you were facing what is kind of the emerging new-ish build for European human players, the kind of arcane tower creeping, either aggressive or safe, and then into double sanctum, sorks, priests, and breakers. And you utilize the fast expansion build. How do you feel those first two games went for you?
Yeah, it's really tough against this new style that humans play. I feel like I did had a pretty good early game on last Refuge. And the creepjack at his Goblin Lab really helped me a lot. It was kinda close for a moment where I was in risk of losing my TC, but once I made it home safely, I was pretty sure that I was in a good spot there. Yeah, and the second game, my preparations went really well. I was exactly aware of what he was going to do pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Also having in mind he might go for the tier 3 vision style on this map, which would have maybe been pretty good, I'm not sure.
It looked similar until the first casters came in with the way that he was pressuring with the Archmage and the Mountain King on your natural expansion.
Exactly. Yeah, and then, as you said, the whole expansion sequence didn't go my way so well. I didn't kill the Mountain King. He escaped with like 20 HP or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was 16 or 18.
Yeah, it was really close, and I lost a bunch of units. And at that point, I was like, "Ooh, that might be a tough one." But then, luckily, I had a really good fight at the Goblin Shop, which he probably shouldn't have taken like that. My Kodas were able to eat 2 breakers, and from there on, I guess I'm not sure I would have quit if I was him. I didn't feel like I was super far ahead yet.
Well, you were about to kill his expansion, which just came up. He had a single sorceress, maybe 2 breakers coming, level 3/1, and you were about to destroy all peasants on his expansion, and he knew you had one. It felt early, but it was probably not wrong.
Yeah, that might also be my current perception of facing 2 sanctums.
No, but it's a good mindset. You don't want to be like, oh, I've won, I don't need to try anymore. Like, you had a strong mindset. You didn't make many mistakes, and he didn't force many on you.
That's true. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Torzen here. The man is insane. Like, a super great player and even better person. I played like, I don't know, 25 to 30 games with him in the last couple of days.
As preparation or in general?
As preparation.
Wow.
And nice you're taking it seriously, your practice for the fight night.
Yeah, I hope the next guy that I'm facing now is not a streamer, because the amount of time I watched DeMusliM VODs in the last days, I don't want to do that again, to be honest.
There's too much info to consume. You have the responsibility to watch it all.
I really hope that's like a not regular streamer or something.
I know the feeling, dude. I completely psyched myself out watching Happy stream in my last StarCraft 2 tourney in 2014. There was so much information that I could play his build. That's how much I watched him, but I got completely psyched out.
Yeah, and like we are preparing for different styles, which we expected DeMusliM to do. And among these was the double sanctum quick counter expansion style. And this was actually the style I had most trouble with playing against. So maybe that's why I wasn't like super confident that I was gonna win when he left. But yeah, I guess
makes sense.
And the thing is, Spiral, I think it was like knowing you and how harshly you took that first fight night appearance that you had back in the days. I think was it against Neutron?
I was heartbroken. Yep.
Against Neutron when you came in, and you had high hopes, and we were really confident in you performing well, and then you went down. And I know that you were heartbroken, like you say. You were really disappointed in your own performance. I remember that like it happened yesterday. So I'm very happy for you that you were able to overcome the odds this time. And I'm pretty sure, like, in terms of orcs versus humans, is that a comfortable matchup for you at the moment, do you think? Because you looked super confident all the time. No mistakes. You always had shop control, got the potions that you needed. You always seemed to magically know where DeMusliM was, creeping-wise. Almost seemed like he was your negative and you were the positive. So do you just like the matchup in general?
I do believe that it's my best or second best matchup right now. But still, I'm like super critical of myself, and I honestly, I have so much questions still left regarding this matchup. Like so many, I know that Grubby plays really aggressive at times against human. I was also watching his games a bit to maybe get some ideas, and I couldn't really understand always why it worked and so on. And there's still so many questions that I haven't solved. But yeah, I would say it's like maybe my top 2 matchups right now, next to undead.
What is your weakest? Don't answer, because we'll find one.
You know the answer, Grubby. Undead, of course. You know the answer. Probably Night Elves.
And Night Elves has been doing quite good against Orcs recently, like today in the WGL qualifier. We see some new plays by Lin. Have you seen those yet?
I saw the game on last Refuge, and I wanted to turn it off pretty fast again.
Yeah, but I think Moon did some things to not be as harassable as like Colorful or Laliat or whoever Lin beats with that. Because the Moonwell was like 95% done when Lin arrived, but in every other game, the Moonwell was like 65. So I feel like Moon is already familiar with this, has better wisp locations, quicker Moonwell timing, is prepared for the TP harass, and then goes in with the Keeper counterattack. So I still think Moon is special in his preparations, but it was interesting to see some of those early TP keeping.
You know him better than I do, but I can imagine that this guy was like a nightmare to face back then.
Yeah,
he's a highest earning Warcraft 3 player for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, wonderful on his preparations. A beautiful mind. Spiral, fantastic job tonight. You have an early night off. Congrats.
That's nice.
Your practice and study paid off. We're looking forward to seeing you again next fight night. Any last words for the fans?
Just once more, thanks to Tarzan for really preparing me very well for this match. And thanks to you guys for hosting this show, to the guys from Heroes Hearth. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
We certainly did, man. We certainly did. Thank you so much for playing once again and coming on the interview as well, Spiral. And see you in 2 weeks. Are you ready to face Happy? He seems to be in for a rematch, you know?
Please don't.
All right, cool. Yeah, guys, that was pretty much
it. All right, cool.
That was all I needed to know. I'm gonna text him right now. Yeah, but that was it, guys. That was the best of 7 that we promised you for Fight Night today. I think it was so sick to see DeMusliM and Spiral going at it in a full best of 7. We don't get to see best of 7s that many times. And the games were very close, very heated, and we saw some great highlights. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch here, guys, for the upcoming next Fight Night. I can already promise you that if everything works out the way Grubby and I planned it, it's going to be a little special. So follow us on Twitch here. Check out the YouTube channel as well. Grubby, of course, is producing awesome content there. I myself am doing a little bit of my part as well, and we have some cool other features there. So !YouTube if you want to see more. You can also check the VOD. If you just tuned in, you're like, I just came from the games too late, then you can check out the YouTube, and we got you covered there. I'm going to leave the final words to Grubby before we send you off.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this fight night. We've got a, like Kendric said, probably special fight night coming up in 2 weeks from now. So don't miss it. Follow this channel. Check out the YouTube. And then enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. And maybe I'll see you guys on my solo stream in a few moments.
Oh, you're streaming right now, right? No breaks?
Yep.
Yeah,
no breaks.
Yeah.
I'm going to tune in.
Hey, GG's Spiral. See you in a few weeks. And have a great weekend, everyone. Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.